relaxing your hands in your lap and closing your eyes. And if you don't want to close your eyes, you can lower your gaze. And together, let's take a wonderful inhale, slow, deep inhale through the nose, pausing at the top of the inhale and let out with a beautiful sigh. Let's do it again. Inhale beautifully and exhale with a sigh. Let me hear all the stress being released there. Oh, thank you very much. Let's do one more. Inhale. Fabulous. Keeping your eyes closed. Keeping your eyes. And just allowing your breath to bring you here now. To go and fetch you from all the different places you've been to today, all the things you've had to do, and bring you into this space, into this moment, and just make space for your breath, just focusing on a beautiful inhale and exhale. And then without changing, just noticing that you're breathing. And that without you having to do anything, your lungs full with air, and then they squeeze and they remove the air, and then the diaphragm drops and the ribs move sideways and upwards and your lungs expand, and then your diaphragm moves up, and then the ribs move down, and the air is released. And just notice how you don't have to do anything. It's just happening. And as you're sitting here and trying to just relax, and just notice how is bringing your awareness to how you are feeling right now. So what are you bringing into the space? Are you bringing in stress? Are you bringing in agitation? Are you bringing in overwhelm? Are you bringing in excitement, anticipation? What are you bringing in? So just connect with that, and whatever it is you're bringing into the space, and I know this may be a tough one, but see if it's possible to feel into your body where you feel that. Now, that's a funny question I'm asking you. So just feel into, if you are bringing into the space, if you are bringing into the space a feeling of anticipation, where are you feeling that anticipation? Is it in your belly? Is it in your chest? Is it in your throat? Just feel. If you're bringing in a sense of stress, if you're bringing in overwhelm from this afternoon you've had, where do you feel it? And I'd like you to place your hand where you feel it. That's it. Okay, thank you so much. And you can gently open your eyes. And we're going to go around the room. And as I go around the room, you're just going to introduce yourself. You're going to say what your name is. And then you're going to share with everyone what you are bringing into the space, how you are feeling in this moment right now. Okay? Starting with you.
My name is Renate Pichini.
Your name is?
Renate.
Renate. Hello, Renate.
And I'm bringing in anxiety.
And you bringing in anxiety. In fact, let me hold it. Renate, how do I spell your name?
It's R-I-N-A-T.
R-I-N-A-T. And you're bringing in a feeling of anxiety. And where do you feel that?
In my gut.
You're feeling that in your gut. Thank you very much. Hello, my name is Odette. Odette? And Odette, what are you bringing into the space?
I'm curious and looking forward.
So let's go with curious, anticipation,
Yes.
and where do you feel that?
In my head.
In your head. Okay, remember that. Fabulous. You feel it in your head. That's interesting. Okay, thank you. Although you were touching your throat.
Yeah, because you said, yeah.
Yeah, so is it like you feel it here in your throat area?
Or more in my face.
Okay, on your face. Beautiful, thank you.
My name is Ian.
How's it, Ian? It's how do I spell Ian? I-A-N?
Correct.
Great. And how are you, Ian? What are you bringing into the space?
What's I think anticipation?
Fantastic. And where do you feel it?
Jeez.
In your chest. Beautiful. Thank you, Ian.
My name is Jacques.
Jacques. Hi, Jacques. What are you bringing into the space?
I would say also anticipation, and it's in the top.
The top part of your that's the chest. Fantastic. Okay, anticipation.
Hi, I'm Adrian.
Okay, Adi. Thanks, Adi. What are you bringing into the space?
Agitation from the day.
Agitation. Just the residue of everything. Where are you feeling that? Right. Agitation. Thanks, Adi.
I'm Nadine.
Hi, Nadine.
I'm feeling hope and overwhelmed.
Hope and overwhelm.
The body,
And where do you feel that?
the tongue.
The tongue. Thank you.
Stephen,
Hi, Stephen. With a V or PH?
it's the V.
Okay.
I'm bringing in new beginnings.
New beginnings. What does that feel like? What does a new beginning feel like?
Okay, I've gone through a very hard time. Lost my life. Business due to anxiety.
Yeah.
Not sure where I'm going, but
Yeah.
I want to start a new business, a new business.
Okay.
Mm.
So you're arriving open-minded.
Yeah.
You're arriving with this beautiful,
Only creates that.
beautiful, Stephen. I'm so sorry about your life. Where do you feel this openness?
I've done a job last week.
Where do you feel it in your body, Stephen?
Oh,
Oops.
well,
Where does
My
that feel?
chest.
This feeling of openness, where do you feel that? Everywhere.
my arms,
Your arms,
everywhere.
everywhere. Thank you, Steve.
Hi, Mpo.
Hello, Paul.
Hi.
What are you bringing into the space?
Openness.
Oh, beautiful. Look, I spelled openness correctly. Is it double N?
Yes, it's right. It's correct.
And where do you feel openness?
Here.
Beautiful.
Yes.
From your throat to your sternum.
Yes.
There, this area
yes,
there.
yes, just here.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else want to know? Leave me alone. So the question is this. How did it feel when I asked you to feel into how you're feeling?
Please repeat that.
Concentrate, eh? How does it feel when I ask you to feel into how you are feeling?
No, I didn't find a problem.
That's perfect. Lovely. Thank you. No problem. Anyone
So
have
what
an
I'm
issue?
saying
It's like intensity. Like just here, like there was like this intensity that I felt just figuring out where is it placed in my body.
Okay, so as you were trying to drop down into your body to feel where is it, it became quite intense.
Until I said it now, it's everything is
Okay,
yeah.
thank you, Paul. Anyone else want to share what that was like, feeling into your body to try and assess, like, how am I feeling right now? Or is it quite normal?
Yeah.
Quite normal. Quite normal. So the reason I say that is actually a lot of people find it very difficult to feel into their bodies, to check into how they are. You know, I do a lot of self-inquiry, and there's a third question when you ask the person, how do you react? How do you behave? How do you feel? Hello. Hi. When you welcome. When you believe that thought. No.
Yeah.
Hold a different perspective. I've seen it from me. Well, welcome to that seat. And the third question is, how do you feel? How do you react when you believe that thought? And people will go to naming something, or people will go to an expression of something, but to drop into the body and to feel is very challenging for a lot of people. Which is quite strange, because we're here and we're talking about minds matter, and I am spending all of this time talking about feeling. Because there is this disconnect between the head and the body, the mind and the body. And so, and all of this time talking about what I want to say and what I want, because there is the disconnect between what I want to put out there is that when you can feel into your body, you can start to work on your mind. And that is what I'm going to be focusing on a lot today, the importance of checking in and feeling into how you're feeling, because it affects how you show up. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a moment. Now, I want to read out a couple of quotes. I don't know about you. I mean, I love reading quotes. I mean, I love philosophers and poets and historians and then entrepreneurs, people who've created and done amazing things. And I thoroughly enjoy reading their quotes. And I've selected a couple of quotes, and I'd love to ask you, you know, if any of these quotes resonate with you. And if they resonate, again, how they resonate. So I'll start off with Elon Musk. And Elon said, when something is important enough, you do it, even if the odds are not in your favor. If something is important enough, you do it, even if the odds are not in your favor. Then Jeff Bezos from Amazon said, I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not trying. So again, I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not trying. Serena Williams said, I don't like to lose at anything, yet I've grown most, not from victories, but setbacks. So she said, I don't like to lose at anything, yet I've grown most, not from victories, but setbacks. And the last one, Steve Case from AOL, he said, you shouldn't focus on why you can't do something, which is what most people do. You should focus on why perhaps you can and be one of the exceptions. So he says you shouldn't focus on why you can't do something, which is what most people do. You should focus on why perhaps you can and be one of the exceptions. I mean, there are so many, and I just pulled those. Did any of those quotes resonate for any of you? Anyone jump out?
The last one.
The last one. And why? Why, Adi? Why did that jump out for you?
Most times there's always a why you can.
And how does that feel in your body when you say that?
No, I don't know. It feels nice, I suppose.
Okay, so let's go, let's even go a bit deeper. How does it feel in your body?
It feels free, I suppose.
And when you really start to become more embodied, you start to tune into the little nuances of the feeling. So it feels good, Adi is saying. And then when you drop in even more, then you start to go, oh, there's a warm feeling. There's a feeling of warmth. There's a slight tingle. And I feel it moving along my chest towards my shoulders. And it's starting to dissolve. And that's the kind of detail you start to feel into your body. Thank you. Who else? What other, did any quote jump out?
I like Serena Williams.
Tell me why.
Because she's a good loser and she's a brilliant winner.
It's so good. She's a good loser and she's a brilliant winner. And can you resonate with that?
Yes, because losing, to be a good loser is very difficult. It's much easier to be a bad loser.
Much easier.
Much easier.
But as she said, she learned the most from those losses, not from the victories. So where do you feel it? Do you feel it at all when you think about that? When you think about setbacks, difficulties, losses, but overcoming them and growing from it?
Yeah, I sadly have had to grow from, not from encouragement, from, hurt. So yeah.
Where do you feel that, Trips? When you say that, show me in your body where you feel that.
Just the pain everywhere. Yeah.
Do any of you feel anything when you hear that?
I was also about to say Serena Williams, but for me, because I journal a lot. So when I've won or I've achieved something, I'll just be like, oh, thank God, maybe even 2 lines, Nyana. But when I've lost something or when I didn't get something or received a rejection, I would literally fill a page with my emotions, what I'm feeling, what I've learned from that, whatever rejection or failure.
Amazing.
So for me, it's that. So I resonate with Serena more. How I feel that, bit emotional because I feel like I've had a lot of failures and rejections. It's not even failures. For me, it's challenges now. I've had a lot of challenges and rejections. So it's emotional. So it's more here in my vocals.
There. Bit of heart, bit of throat. And interesting that Mpho said she felt emotional because she resonated like with Serena, and what came up in that moment? Serena's difficulties or her difficulties?
My difficulties.
And so I'm just planting a few seeds because we're going somewhere here, but just notice what happens. Notice when you are listening to the quote or reading a quote and something happens in your body, and where is that feeling coming from? Is it coming from Serena Williams' losses, or is it coming from the losses you experienced? Just notice. Anyone else? Any other quote that resonated?
I think the losses and disappointment you carry with you every day to keep you focused, to remind you to not do that again.
That's so interesting. That's so interesting. Say that again. Losses. You keep losing. You keep losing.
If we make a mistake with a client, for example, those mistakes that keep us focused on why we do those triple checks, for example, or that reminds you of those disappointments.
Okay.
Carry you forward.
Do you all agree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll come back to that after I've given the explanation. No, it's wonderful. And we'll come back to it. So Wayne Dyer, you've heard of Wayne Dyer. And Wayne Dyer, the late Wayne Dyer. And I love his one quote. And he says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. What is he saying? Your perspective. There we go. Hello. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. So when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And AD, you're saying it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
About perspective.
Which I don't have, but I don't really.
I was just about to say, I think a good example just happened now.
Isn't that his literally the person changed? That's the best example. Yeah. Okay, so it speaks to perspective. What else does it speak to? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And we said perspective,
And attitude.
attitude. What else?
And say, we look with a good eye.
Okay.
Analysis.
What do you mean by that?
When you analyze a situation or whatever that you are going through, when you analyze it with a different perspective, then it's gonna change, like to whatever
Actually
that,
stop and okay.
yeah,
Analyze, shift the perspective.
questioning whatever is happening. But yeah.
We live in a world very often where we think when things change, then I'll be okay. When my bank balance is a whole lot better, I'm going to feel okay. When I get the lead or when I get the investment or what, then I'll be okay. When my partner listens to and respects me, I'll be content in the relationship. When, if. And what I love about this quote is he says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. The only change that ever takes place is your change. The only evolution that takes place that is your business is you. And in business, that's quite difficult because there are people in you managing, and it's not to say that you don't manage people and you don't manage situations. Of course you do. But when it comes to mind matters, when it comes to you showing up with the right mindset, with the right attitude, with the ability to shift a perspective in a situation, it's on you. And you are the only one who can control that. And so I have 5 fundamental truths that I'm going to share with you tonight, which will give you an idea and a deeper understanding of this quote. And the 5 misunderstandings go as follows. We look at reality. That's the first one. The second one, thoughts. The third one, feelings. Fourth, the past and the future. And the 5th is the present moment. The 5 fundamental truths. I'm going to start off with reality. I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. And please, if there's anything you don't understand, just stop me and I'll expand on it. When it comes to reality, it's as simple as this. Reality is reality, and you can't change it. There is this unfolding reality, There is this life that we did not create, that is just happening, whether we like it, whether we don't like it. It is unfolding, and we just get to show up and we get to play and we get to do what we do. But reality is reality. We cannot change it. We suffer when we argue with reality. But there is something interesting about reality. And that is each and every one of us experience reality differently. We all have a unique experience of reality based on our patterning, our belief system, where we come from, how we were brought up, our experiences when we were already in utero, birth experiences, those first 7 years with our caregivers, what we were taught, how we were fed, whether we could play outside, whether we couldn't, what our teachers told us, interactions with our friends. They created that, or created this lens through which we experience the world. And each lens is completely individual. And the wonderful thing is when you get to see that there are all these different experiences of the exact same reality, we get to realize that we can play with it because we can shift the lens. You spoke about perspective. It's all about the perspective. Can I shift the lens? I can't change reality. It's like when COVID came along. There was nothing, I mean, what a perfect example. We didn't create it, we didn't want it, we didn't ask for it, boom, there it was. Now what do we do with it? And a lot of people were really, really negatively affected by it. So reality is reality, you can't change reality. It is what it is, however, you can change your experience. You have choice to change the way you experience it. Simple as that. The way we perceive things, very, very unique. Then we have thoughts. Now, our thoughts are the lens through which we experience our reality. What we're thinking about something is the way we experience it. So put another way, a lot of us think that we are like cameras. So I'm taking everything in and then I'm reacting to that. And that would seem quite logical. You're all out there. I'm looking at you. I'm interacting with you. And I'm responding to you. But that's not how it works. We are not cameras taking in and responding. We are projectors thinking, feeling, and then projecting.
And analyzing.
And judging and second guessing and everything that comes with it. So thoughts come and go. We have 60 to 70,000 thoughts every day. Did you notice that you had 60,000 thoughts today?
No.
Because most of the thoughts come and then they go. That's what happens to a thought. It arises and then it goes. That's what happens to a thought. We have a mind that secretes thoughts. That is what our mind does. It arises and it goes. And where we start to have issues, when we are focused on something, there's no issue. You know, if you're in front of your laptop and you are thinking about a marketing plan and you are in the zone, you are focused. There's nothing more powerful than when you're in that zone. Hey, have you all had that feeling when you're just so creative? Has everyone had that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? When you're just so in that zone. And then something happens. You're not as focused, and then all of a sudden the thought enters the conscious mind. You don't even realize it's happened. That's it. And all of it without knowing. And now you're thinking about, Did I go past Woolworths? Did I get fresh milk? Is there milk? But if my kids, they have breakfast, and you're there, but you're now there. You get it. It happens. It's the default mode network. It's the certain parts of the brain that light up, and we start to have self-conscious thoughts. We start to think about the past. We start to think about the future, the me, them. It doesn't stop. And they've done research and they've found that a person before getting lost in thought is a lot happier than when they come back from being lost in thought. But that's how we work. Our thoughts come and our thoughts go. When we attach to the thoughts, it becomes the lens through which we experience that moment. But if we don't attach to it, then what does it do? The thought comes and the thought goes. We don't, we're not thinking those thoughts. Unless we are very consciously thinking, they're coming from our subconscious. So our thoughts are the lens through which we project and experience this reality. Feelings. Feelings come from thoughts. And a lot of people grapple with this because sometimes you just feel something and you don't know why you're feeling it. And very often the feeling that you're getting, and this can be a feeling of deep anxiety or deep depression or deep worry, that is a feeling in reaction to a thought and a patterning, a trauma, something that happened that is sitting in your nervous system, so you're not even aware of it, but it is coming from a thought, a meaning, an interpretation. So the feelings come from thoughts. Now, if our thoughts are the lens through which we experience our reality, and we want to be able to shift, if in that moment we're feeling anxious, or we're feeling overwhelmed, or we're feeling angry, or we're feeling distracted, or whatever it is, if we just feel into the feeling, like I said right at the beginning, and we go, something's happening. Something is happening right now. Then we can pause long enough and see if we can shift that thought. So your feelings, whether they are good or whether they are bad, are all good, especially the bad ones, because they're the wake-up call that you're lost. Do you understand that? That you're lost. So the more you work on your mind, the more you work on feeling into how you feel. Now, a lot of us don't want to feel the uncomfortable feeling. We don't want to feel the feelings of anxiety or the losses that we've had. And what we do is we very quickly have a way of surviving and being okay. And what do? We suppress it. And we distract ourselves. We quickly go, we go shopping, we go to the fridge, we eat, we go on our phones, we do whatever, anything to avoid the feeling. We push it and push it. But there's something called amplification. And what happens is those feelings just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so you find that you get a lot, you trigger so much quicker. It's so easy to be triggered, right? And someone can do something or just poke you in a little way and it's woof. And that's because the feelings are never heard or the emotions are never expressed. We feel them, we push down, we distract. And my encouragement, what I really invite you to do is to welcome your feelings. The scary, uncomfortable feelings, they come from you. Be with them. Breathe and notice how they pass, because they pass. They don't pass when you distract and then you come back and you distract and you come back. You find you're in this loop. It's awful. You just pause, and you're with the feeling. It passes. But we'll get into this more. The feelings are the portal to your freedom. Feelings are the portal to your freedom. You want to be able to manage your mind, feel. Past and future. Past and future, it's this whole illusion around time. We have never experienced a past, and we have never experienced a future. Not ever, never. We have only ever experienced the present moment. And I really, really, really encourage you to get that. Don't let it just be a concept. Get it. Never, ever have you been in the past. Not possible. Right? When you woke up this morning and you got out of bed and you see yourself, that's me in the past. But when you woke up and you got out of bed, were you in the past?
Yeah, I'm stuck in my dream.
Post dream, when you were getting out, you were still dreaming when you got out of bed.
Yeah, it affected me for a long time.
Did it?
Yeah.
Now, dreams do that. Mine also last night, funnily enough. I wonder if it's the solar eclipse. His dreams. Let's go back. Let's go back. When you had breakfast this morning, was it this morning, or were you eating your breakfast in the present moment?
Present.
Can you get that? Do you get it? You're sitting here now and you're seeing yourself in the past. But was that in the past when you had your breakfast? No. It wasn't. You were in the present. Why is that relevant? Why is that important?
You can't live in the past.
Yes.
Now, there you go.
How much of who we are is based on this? So we use this. In this moment, I bring up a quote about Serena Williams, and you are connected to failures in the past. That's what showed up for you in this present moment. And each one of you will have, if I can bring up different things, different scenarios, whatever it is, in a moment, without realizing it, boom, you're in a movie. You're in the movie of the losses. You're in a movie of the losses without realizing it. That's what happens. This past becomes the lens for this moment. And we are acting in this way to prevent that from happening there. Does that make sense? We've never been in a future. The future just doesn't exist. It happens if you think of yourself tomorrow morning getting out of bed. You can see it. I can see myself getting out of bed, right? I can see my pajamas. I can see everything, opening the curtains. Something could happen tonight and maybe I won't get out of bed tomorrow. Maybe I will be at a friend. I don't know. Maybe I'll do whatever. Anything could happen. It's just my imagination when I see myself getting up tomorrow morning out of bed. The future doesn't exist. But every experience of now is based on that, which is arriving, and is in this moment trying to very often avoid an uncomfortable or scary future that could happen. And that shows up for us in this moment. So when you talk about mind wellness, the key is to be in the present moment. To be fully immersed in the present moment. Moment by moment. That's all you have to do. In this moment now, can I be okay? In this moment now, can I be okay? In this moment now, can I be okay? Now, I've got to plan something for my business. We've got to plan, we've got to strategize. We have a meeting. We set time aside. We do it. I can have creative daydreaming. I'm lying in the bath. I'm walking in the park. I'm in the shower. There are times where I'm really creative. There I know my imagination's working. But the rest of the time, I'm here. I'm in the present moment. And I'm going to say it again. Moment by moment. Can I just choose to be here now? Can I choose to be okay now? And as that thought comes up, the decision is, do I want to be carried away from the thought? Because it happens, whether we like it or not. I don't have to be angry that the thought's coming and going, but I can choose whether I want to get lost in it. I choose not to. And I bring myself to this present moment. And a way to bring yourself to the present moment is to anchor yourself in one of your senses. I feel my feet on the ground. Sorry, I'm so hot all of a sudden. I can feel the air entering and exiting my nostrils. I can smell, I can hear, I see. Because you can only experience those fully in the present moment. Reality is reality. You cannot change it. It is what it is. But you can change the way you experience it. And that is going to be looking at your past, your future, the thoughts, and the feelings. The feelings are the portal to what you're thinking in the moment, which wakes you up to what is happening, the realization that you're in a movie from past and future. Can I be here now? Moment by moment by moment. So, how does it show up? Why would this be relevant? Why would this conversation even be important? I'd like you to consider, think of a time, perhaps, when you were working on some strategy for your business and you were in the zone and you were firing from all cylinders and it was absolutely fantastic. And then the next day, you decided to return to this work, but you just weren't feeling it. You weren't feeling as creative. The ideas weren't coming as quickly. Something had shifted. Something had changed. You go to gym. One time you go to gym, it's amazing. You're working hard, you've got energy, everyone's so lovely, you're loving it, it's fantastic. The next day you go to gym, there's a queue, the people aren't friendly, it's so difficult, you can't stand it. What changed? What changed?
So like,
Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep. You come home, your partner comes and greets you. Oh, you love them. They're just so wonderful. They're so delicious. You have a conversation. It's marvelous. The next day you come home, they come and greet you. But they're talking so loudly. I wish they'd just give me some space. Can they just... What changed?
The mindset. Perspective again.
So I'm going to use a word because I think it's it's not a word. It's state of mind. And a mindset speaks to that. Mindset is the mind that has been set based on your behaviors, your beliefs, how you've developed it, which can absolutely be shifted. Your perspective is part of shifting your perspective. You can shift the mindset. The state of the mind is part of that. And the state of the mind is really the realization that your mind, the state of your mind is shifting all the time. It's never steady. It's never the same. It's always changing. And that's why sometimes you can sit in front of your computer and plan something and you're in the zone, and another time you can't. And it could have something to do with the fact that you haven't had enough sleep. It could have to do with the fact that you had a high starch lunch and now your body is digesting and all you want to do is have a sleep. All of those things come into it. But so much of the state, this fluctuating state of mind, it's going up and it's going down. And what we think is that they're changing. Do you know what I'm saying? The gym is changing. Even at the gym is revolting. The gym is hideous. I've got to change. I've got to go to another gym. My partner is so irritating right now. I've just got to get out of here and get some space. We think that it's all of these things outside of ourselves changing, and we put all the energy into trying to change all of that and get irritated or control that or do that. And what we don't realize is that it's not possible for them to make us feel any way. It ain't possible for another person to make you feel a certain way. Or a circumstance or a situation, it's not possible. Because we are having an inside out experience, not an outside in experience. Everything that is outside of me goes through my senses, it enters my brain. There's a top down and a bottom up processing of the information based on what I'm seeing, smelling, hearing, feeling, tasting. And then I take all those beliefs, the belief system, the pattern, what I like and don't like. Remember those lenses I was talking about? And I use all of that. And that's creating my experience. Not anything outside of myself. Do you get that?
I think there's a quote from Oprah saying that the only control that I have entirely is the mind, my control, not what happens out there. I don't have control over that. The only control is here. And me changing this, me having control of this, it affects everything that I'm feeling, everything that's going on in my life.
And we've just seen how it plays out. And we've just seen how true that is. But I don't want this just to be a concept that you hear from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're very good at quoting people. Quotes. We're very good at quoting people, and thank God for that, because it is such an inspiration. We want mentors, we want it, but until we walk it, until we embody it, until we become that, it has no power. We can't use it as magic because it's magical. When we realize we've never lived in a past, that we've always been in a present, and that this moment is the only moment that exists for us. When we realize that all we have to do is manage moment by moment by moment, and I understand that I'm in a room with business people, entrepreneurs, you have businesses and you have to plan. And I'm telling you that when you start to manage your own mind, you can start to unravel the kind of thoughts that are holding you back. And you realize that knot of thinking and the limiting beliefs about a certain thing isn't even what's coming up in the moment. It's a past event that's coming up. And that's what's tripping you up in this moment. So when you can clear and be in the moment, then you start to approach things differently. You realize I'm having an inside out experience, not an outside in experience. So ultimately, what we want to be doing, if you're in a meeting situation, maybe there's some kind of conflict. Maybe you feel like this person has attacked you and you are feeling extremely, extremely defensive. If you have the ability in the moment just to do what I started off with, how am I feeling right now? Am I in a position right now to answer this person? You're connecting. You're literally going, you're pausing, you're feeling, you're noticing the thoughts that are coming up, and you could very well turn around and say, I can't answer any of these questions right now because I'm feeling
Angry. Because I want to kill you.
This interaction right now, it's not very productive. I'd like to pick this up at a later stage. Same goes if someone's asking you questions and you don't know, and you want to be able to respond with this kind of clear, open mind. And you can't do that. You will only ever be in reaction the world is coming at me if you're not feeling it and you're not present. If you're in the movie. The movie.
Someone, not a famous quote, just someone once said to me, you don't have to ever make a decision in anything.
I
And
love
that's
that.
the most incredibly valuable business advice.
So what do you think about that? Do you think that's realistic?
I think maybe not in all situations, but in many, you actually can do what you said and say, let me think about it and I'll come back to you tomorrow morning. I'll let you know in an hour or in 15 minutes.
Like, what is better? Having a defensive reaction and saying something or that you may regret, making a decision you may regret, putting yourself out there in a way that you may regret, or saying that, can we pick this up tomorrow? Can I give you an answer tomorrow? And how do you get there? Yeah, exactly. Because as soon as you check in, because it's really, it's called check in before you check out. As soon as you check in, and guys, you check in with your feelings. That very first question when you walked in, I said, how are you feeling? When you start to get that feeling in your chest, you know what it means. When you know and you start to get that tension in your shoulders, you know, or that tightening, or in your throat, or whatever it is, you understand yourself. You're checking in before you check out. And sometimes in a moment, you can press the reset. I'm going to give you 3 breathwork exercises to reset, which is easier, you know, if you're in a meeting. Excuse me, I have to go to the toilet. So why should you keep going to the toilet? And I'll share them with you in just a moment. But it's this idea that when we have this disconnect between our mind and our body, when we think that everything out there needs to change and then we'll be okay, when we think that the world is coming at us, all of these things take away every bit of power that we have. And none of them are true. None of them are true. Every experience we have, we are creating that experience based on what we're thinking and believing in the moment. We want to access it, we must go to how we're feeling. We want to check in before we check out. We want to realize that maybe in this moment I am so overwhelmed, but I know it's going to pass. Because it does pass. And I will acknowledge that there's this feeling, but I know that I'm whole and I know that I'm okay and I know that it'll come back and I just maybe have to take a breath and wait for it to balance out. And maybe this will take a little bit longer and I'm going to be kind to myself and I'm going to remove myself from the situation until it passes. But unless we go in and we operate from that place, we're never going to be able to do it. So as I said to you, the most important thing when it comes to mind matters. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You okay? It starts with you. And it's not just the idea, I want you to feel it. Start to feel the feelings. When you're with your partner, a romantic, a professional, a friend, and they say and they antagonize you or they ask you a question and it's something you're uncomfortable, you don't want to answer, notice. If you have to look at a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being, I can show up, I can have this conversation. 1, I absolutely can't. When you check into the feelings, you're going, am I okay to answer this question right now? Am I okay to have this conversation? And it's not to say that in 30 seconds you won't be okay, but check in. You owe it to you and you owe it to them. To your relationships, your business relationships. It's being on top of everything. 3 very quick breathwork exercises, because when you feel into yourself and you are feeling dysregulated, when you feel into yourself and you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling angry, you're feeling ambushed, you feel whatever it is that's stopping you from performing or stopping you from being in the moment, just pause and we're going to breathe. When you're feeling magnificent and fantastic and happy, great, go with it. You don't have to do anything. So there's 3 breathwork exercises I'm going to share very quickly with you. The one is when you want to feel relaxed and focused at the same time. So before you go in and you give a presentation, before you go into a meeting, you want to be calm and relaxed. The Navy SEALs use this. They've got to be so focused, but they've got to be so relaxed and so ready. And it's called box breathing. And all you do is you are drawing a box with your breath. So, it's 5, we've got 5 more minutes. Can you give 5 minutes? Are you okay with 5 minutes? Perfect. So you are drawing a box. You are inhaling to the count of 4. You are then pausing to the count of 4. You are exhaling to the count of 4. And you are pausing to the count of 4. When you do breath work, you're relaxing your shoulders. Although, and we're going to be doing this in and out through the nose, although you're breathing through the nose, and this is the channel, I'd like you to imagine that your nostrils are sitting here by the diaphragm. So you're actually breathing from here. Work that out. I'll leave it. I'll leave it with you. So it's a very relaxed inhale through the nose, and it's not a holding. As soon as you do that, you're going to just want to breathe. Okay. It's a gentle pause. In fact, it's almost a dissolving relaxing. So it's relaxing your shoulders. We breathe out. If you find the 4 is too much, just do it to the count of 2. That's all. Absolutely fine. But let's try. Hand on diaphragm. Both feet on the ground. Let's exhale. Let the air out. And let's breathe in. In. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. And gently pause. 2, 3, 4. And in. 2, 3, 4. And pause. 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. And pause. 2, 3, 4. When I first started doing box breathing, I sometimes felt a little bit panicky when it was the pause part. The more I did it, the easier it got. Then it extended from 4 to 5 to 6. Do you do this when you're in the meeting? You know you can. You know you can. No one will know that you're doing it. No one will know. When you're sitting there and you just go, no one knows. But what is happening is I'm fully present. I'm feeling into my body. I'm here. I'm listening. I'm focused. I'm calm. The more you use it, the easier it gets and the more effective it is. Because it's so easy to be dysregulated. It's so easy to be knocked off your perch. It happens very, very quickly. Remember, when you think of something, how the memory of the past comes up. And then it hijacks the present moment, and then it's fearful for the future, and you start acting, you're not here. Let the breath always bring you back. So that's the box breathing. Right. The second breath I want to introduce you to is if you're working and you want to be energized, you want to be focused, you want to feel like you've got a little bit of the energy, you're going to use fire breath. And fire breath is in through the nose and out through the mouth. So you're going, I beg your pardon, in through the mouth, out through the mouth. So you're going. Now, I know this looks weird. I know. It looks weird. I feel weird doing it. but it is so energizing. So feel into your body right now. Feel in, drop in. I always say drop into your body. And now stand up, everybody. Stand up. Bring your hands out. Stretching your fingers. Let's do 10. Let's go. Right. Feel. How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
My heart is beating fast.
Heart's beating on. Can you feel the tingle? Can you
Yeah.
feel? Okay. Now I know it seems weird. And this one you're not going to do in a meeting. Please. You're and you're about to fall asleep or you need to wake up. It didn't even take 30 seconds. Guys, manage yourself. You manage yourself. The last breath. Yes, ma'am. So it's
Monica, I'm typing it up. You're going to get it from exactly how it's done.
Yeah. Because we're doing the inhale through the mouth, it's even more energizing. You can inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. We're doing mouth, so it's energizing. Don't do it when you're in the car. Don't do it when you're walking on the side of the road because you may feel a little bit lightheaded. So do it in a safe. Yeah, you can do it at Moishi's, but you're going to feel, even if you just feel now, can you feel your heart now? Just from that. The energy is moving through your body. And when that energy moves through your body and the oxygen is in the brain, you're going to start operating. You're present, you're in it. One more exercise I want to share with you when you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling like you can't cope, it's called grounding breath. And the grounding breath is a double sniff or inhale through the nose. So you inhale through the nose and then you sniff again. Then you pause to the count of 3 and then you exhale with pursed lips. Empty everything, let it out. So it's it is so relaxing. Be aware that you don't do this, guys. Okay, we want to relax the shoulders. Okay, stand up. This you will instantly take away feelings of anxiety or overwhelm. Instantly. Okay, it just shifts the sympathetic, boom, to the parasympathetic. It's a physiological thing. Quick and easy. Okay, let's do it together. Let the air out and let's go. Inhale. Feel it relax, release, 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 release. Let's do another one. Feel everything softening and letting go as you exhale. Feel into how you're feeling right now. Calm, relaxed. You've reset the brain. You've gone from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic. Now you're focusing more. You're using this rational part of the brain. You can now think. You can now plan. You can do all of those things. You're not all emotional and reacting. It's a physiological shift. You can sit down. If I had to highlight what I invite you to really walk away with tonight, and you're going to walk away with whatever it is you want to, it's the realization that this present moment, if you're in the moment, you can deal with whatever stressors, circumstances, things come up for you, but you have to be present. And it's awareness of what you're thinking. It's an awareness of what you're feeling. It's the realization that if you bring yourself into the present moment, if you use the breathwork exercises, then you show up as the person that you are. Not the person with all those past experiences and fearful of a future, but just showing up in the moment as you need to. Because we see the world not as it is, as we are. So when we continually check in, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? Can I reset it? We're showing up full. I was walking in the Delta Park years ago, and it was winter. It was in the morning, and the sun was rising. And I remember walking along the park, and there's this beautiful dam, quite cold. And as I turned around the corner, the rising sun was reflecting off the water of this dam. And it was so breathtakingly beautiful, because all I could see were these millions and millions of little glistening golden orbs. And it was like someone had poured liquid gold and these reflections. It was overwhelming, and it was so bright that the light reflected off my face. It was like I stopped and I thought, this is just amazing. And I carried on walking closer and closer to the dam. And as I walked closer to the dam, so I could no longer see the sun reflected on the dam. And I remember standing under this tree, and it was all muddy, and it was cold, and it was dark. And I looked at the water, and it was like all unfriendly. And I was like, ugh. And I remember thinking to myself, hang on. And I retraced my steps, boom, 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 boom. There it was again. There the sun was, reflecting with this beautiful day. And it was such an epiphany for me, because there was just one reality playing out. Me, a park, a dam, a rising sun. And yet there were two very, very different experiences of that same reality. And you are always going to be able to manage the way you experience your reality. Shift your perspective. Be in the moment. Be aware of how you're feeling, what's coming up. What are you thinking in the moment? Can you do that check-in before you check out? Because then you show up as a completely different person. The reality changes. Any questions? Thank you.
Can we say that to integrate the mind and the body, you can use like the breath works that you just to align yourself
100%
in the moment?
So breath work is a very powerful way of embodying it, connecting the mind with the body. The more you work on the breath, the more you feel in, how do I feel before? Let me do the exercise. How do I feel after? The interoceptors come alive. You start to feel in more. And when you listen to your body, then you wake up to the moment. Then you can change. When you change the way you breathe, you change the way you feel. 100%. 100%.
Niki, you said for the fire breath, just 30 seconds. Would you say just 30 seconds for any of them?
So, very good question. Fire breath, you can do the 10. See how you're feeling. If you want to do another 10, great. You don't need to be doing anymore, because fire breath, you want the energy in the moment. Box breathing is something that you can do and you can practice daily. It's wonderful. You can do it before you climb into bed at night. It'll relax you as well as being focusing. It's very relaxing as well. And I would do it. You can do it when you're driving in the car. As I said, you can do it when you're sitting in a meeting. You can do it in lots of situations where no one knows. So do it as a daily practice.
Then the duration.
The duration, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You don't need a lot. You can put on beautiful, relaxing music. There's some apps where you can actually draw it, you can see it. And the grounding breath you're using in the moment. And how many times? We did it twice and already there'll be a shift, 2 to 3 times shift. So fire, breath of fire, grounding breath, you just need a few times. The box breathing, do it for longer, as that's it, and see it as an exercise. It's an embodying exercise. You're working, and also you're working on your tolerance, CO2 tolerance. When you can tolerate more CO2, more oxygen is absorbed into your system. When more oxygen is absorbed into your tissues, you think better, you feel better, it all works. Okay, any other questions?
So please, excuse me, for breathing.
Yes.
And do we have to walk or stand? Can we just sit?
Okay, so the fire breath, I would say stand up. I would say stand, but you can do it when you're sitting. You can do all of them when you're sitting. I like to do fire when I'm standing. But you can sit if you want to. Any other questions? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I mean, you have a long day, and you come and you have a Mashugana person telling you to feel into your body and move your arms around. But minds do matter. And while all the other things are important, you're the one who shows up time and time again. And you want to show up properly and feeling good about yourself and the world. So thank you, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much all for joining us tonight. Before we leave, we're